Happy holidays. It is the holiday season, and I'm curious, what makes your holidays stressful? I would love for you to put something in the chat if you have something that really bothers you for the holidays. So this month, I'm going to be covering things like obligations of love. You really feel like you should get a gift for someone you really don't want to, or show up at a party that you really don't want to. And also food allergies. Like, what if you're gluten-free, for example, like myself, and then you're going to this party and you don't know that anything's going to be gluten-free? How do you manage that? And the same thing with the environmental allergies, like the scented candles or different scents that people put out for the holiday smell, right? Are they toxic or are they more natural? And how do you navigate all that? And then things like finding time to rest or buyer's remorse. So these are topics that I'm going to cover this month. And today I wanted to talk to you about managing other people's feelings and emotions. So when we try to manage somebody else's emotions, it's hard enough to manage our own. So the short answer is don't. Just manage your own. So think about the feelings and emotions that are usually uncomfortable for people: anger, sadness, grief. Some of those are the hard ones. And what if somebody's really, really depressed? This is a time of year that a lot of people deal with more depression than other times. So are you okay helping and supporting them and just being okay with them having those emotions? If not, then that's where your work is to be okay with your own feelings and emotions. So I have a couple scenarios for you. So imagine a time, which could have been today even, imagine a time that you had some feelings come up and you didn't have time to address them, think about it, feel it, notice where it was in your body, and process those emotions because of what was going on. Maybe you're at work or you're in a situation where you can't take the time, or you feel like you can't take the time and just be with those emotions. And so we all hit those times where we just have to hit the pause button, but do we have to stuff it, eat it away, or numb it with alcohol or drugs or an activity so that we can deal with what's in front of us? So learning to deal with our own emotions is really key. So scenario number one could be take the time, excuse yourself, go to the restroom. Excuse me, need to go to the restroom. And usually, unless you have kids, that's a private place that you can go to have a moment. You can use that excuse to just go to the restroom. And then you can maybe deal with the emotion. I have learned over the years to just set it on the shelf. It's like, oof, that's hitting me. I'm uncomfortable with that. I see that. I'm going to put you on the shelf. I'm going to come back and deal with you in a little bit. But right now I need to stay focused right here. And here's another scenario. Imagine that you have some feelings come up and someone's there that really can hold the space for you and let you just feel your emotions and express them without judgment. So just imagine that for a moment, that someone really can be there for you. And then all of a sudden it's acknowledged, and then the emotions can release, and then it's not poking you all day and affecting your other relationships and what you're doing in your life for that day, that week, whatever. When we can acknowledge our own emotions and we can feel what's really happening for us and be okay with the sadness, be okay with depression, be okay with anger, all of the hard emotions. We don't have that fight, flight, freeze, fawn response when somebody else has it. So Tuesday next week, I'm going to have a mini class, and I'm going to do these every Tuesday at 6:15 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're in Standard Time right now. And the goal of that class, that little mini class, is going to be 60 minutes to practice these skills. So practicing being with emotions and being heard by someone else, or maybe multiple people, right? And just being able to be authentic and say, this is how I feel right now in this moment, and say it out loud, then you're seeing and hearing and acknowledging. Think about, what do humans want more than anything else? To be seen, heard, and acknowledged. So were you seen, heard, and acknowledged when you were growing up? Me neither. Me neither. Like most people, that is their thing. They just weren't. And in the best cases of scenarios of being raised by parents and our childhood, the very, very, very best, there is no way, even if you had two parents and one child, no way that that child is going to be heard and seen all the time. They have adult responsibilities, and yet, and all these things that they have to do, but yet that little child, as much as those parents did their best to see, hear, and acknowledge that child in all moments, that child's going to have something that it struggles with. That's part of the human journey. That is what everybody deals with. So I've let go of my mother's guilt. Oh my gosh, in the young years of raising my children, there's so many things I recognize now that I could have done differently, better, whatever. But it's like, no matter how good I would have done, that's the way it was. And we can't go back and change it. So I've forgiven myself. I know I did 1,000 times better than what I was raised with. And my children are amazing. And now I still get to teach them by modeling what I do and how I do it. And they still learn from me, right? So letting go of the guilt of things that you've done in the past, with your kids or your parents, they did the best they could. So now, what do we want to do right now? What do you want for the holidays? To be seen, heard, and acknowledged. That's what we all want. So what if you can be authentic with yourself and see, hear, and acknowledge yourself? What would that do? If we can see ourselves and acknowledge our feelings and our emotions and just go, you know what? Gosh, I remember, here I am at mom's house for Christmas. And I remember when that happened. Just remind yourself, that was then, today's now. They did the best they could, and there's nothing we can do to change it. What do we want to do right now in this moment? What do we want to feel? And then make a choice to move through that. And when you can start acknowledging yourself and feeling and being okay with these feelings and emotions, knowing that the pure emotion only lasts about 30 seconds. So if you really allow yourself to have it, it can just release. And then you can make a choice from that moment. What do I want to experience this holiday? So I hope you join me in my mini class on Tuesday, where we're going to practice the being authentic with ourselves, and we're going to learn to hold space for other people. And it's going to be just an hour. We can do a lot in an hour, and we can't do everything in an hour. So it's about $25. I think it's $25. I don't even know what I'm charging for it, but sign up on the link below, and I'll see you at the mini class. And look for my other mini briefs that I'm going to do on these other topics. I'll talk to you soon.